Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another G.I. Joe review. And finishing off our look at the dollar store G.I. Joe figures, we're taking a look at Shipwreck. Shipwreck is an interesting choice. I would have to say that out of all of the characters that appeared in the comics and the cartoon back in the day, Shipwreck's popularity really comes from the cartoon. Having spoken to Flint Dille, Neil Ross, and a couple of the other writers and what have you, the character of Shipwreck borrowed heavily from Jack Nicholas. And in fact, Neil Ross was basically doing a Nicholas impersonation. Now, when I was a kid, it reminded me of Bo Brady from the soap opera Days of Our Lives. Don't judge, folks. Don't judge. But the figure here in front of us isn't based on Shipwreck's classic character look, but more of his look from the new Sculpt era, Spy Troops, Valor vs. Venom, that focuses more on him being like a SEAL, special operations type of character. Now, the body, I'm not entirely sure where it all comes from. The head, I'm pretty sure, is new or retooled from one of his Spy Troops or Valor vs. Venom figures. The torso, I think, is Pursuit of Cobra Snake Eyes because he has new wrists. But we'll get into that with Articulation. But the legs, I am definitely sure, come from Renegade's Duke. And that's because he comes with, one of his accessories is this great Renegade's handgun that can peg into the leg. Oh my god, he's got a hole in his leg! And what's really cool is he does hold the gun very nicely. Or laser. It really looks like one of the Nerf Vortex blasters, I think called the Vigilant, which I also reviewed. But yeah, but this isn't all the accessories that Shipwreck comes with. But before we get into them, I want to go through your articulation. The head. Now, for me, in my opinion, I think the head, as you can see, the socket for the ball joint isn't set deep enough, so his head sits a little high on his neck. But it isn't a very expressive ball joint. You do get a great range of movement, what have you. Pin and socket shoulders, standard. I mean, there's best range of articulation. Single jointed elbows with a 90-degree bend. Wrist rotation. Both wrists do have the up and down wrist pivot, as we're used to. Ball jointed hips. Double jointed knees with, let me get him off the stand here. He does fit a little tightly on the stand. I would say a very nice full bend right there. And then to finish this off with the ankles, ankle articulate rotation and up and down ankle pivot. Now, like I said, that little handgun blaster isn't the only accessories that Shipwreck comes with. Let's take a look at his other accessories right now. Now, as you know, when I usually do accessories, I just focus on them. Well, I'm leaving Shipwreck here because I actually kind of feel I have to show you how to put it on. First, he comes with this great snorkeling mask, and then this backpack that the mask can plug into. It's kind of hollow. I want to say this comes from Rise of Cobra, but I'm not 100% sure. The Rise of Cobra Shipwreck was one of the figures I skipped since he wasn't in the movie and just didn't wow me in terms of design. Now, interesting enough, I did try putting the mask on over his head, and because of this molded on sailor's cap, the head cap, stocking cap, I should say, it didn't fit. Now, what you have to do is actually pop the head off, which may explain why the socket isn't as recessed as it could be, and then fit the mask on coming up from underneath. And basically just what you want to do is get it up like that. Should fit in quite nicely. Make sure everything's centered. Go ahead, plug the head back on. Hopefully it doesn't look too bad or awkward. Yeah, that should be over his face. I mean, it's covering it, but then what you want to do, and again, this next step is your preference. There are two little holes right here at the top, which actually you can see, that there's little pegs in the ends of the breather that they go right into. And I suggest doing this before you plug the backpack in, just because it'll give you a little maneuverability. But just go ahead and do that. And that's one popped out, so just pop the other one in. And it just pegs right into the back. There you go. And you can just adjust, the way it looks and what have you for your liking. And there's Snake Eyes geared up with his Shipwreck geared up with his breathing apparatus. Now, to be honest with you, this kind of doesn't make sense to me, because why would a guy in cargo pants, knit shirt, whatever, be diving underwater? Because once this gets wet, it's going to pull him down. Maybe if he was in a wetsuit or more, something like a skin tight clothing, or like spandex that, hey, he can get out of the water and then go into combat, I can believe. But like this, I really don't see him using it, or maybe having like a swim, a scuba suit over this. But obviously, it's very difficult to do 3 3/4 scale clothing. There is some pegs here on the back. I'm sure one of you lovely viewers will be able to tell me what it's for and where this pack came from. Maybe it was something that was included with Rise of Cobra's Shipwreck, if I'm right about this figure coming. That pack coming from that figure. But enough of my prabbling. Let's get to my final thoughts. Out of the 6 dollar store figures, I have to say Shipwreck is the one I like the least. I'm not saying it's a bad figure. The build, the parts used are very nice. Yes, the legs do make his torso look a little skinny, but it's not that bad. And I gotta say, he does come with a lot of accessories that maybe can be gifted to other figures. But for me, this just isn't my Shipwreck. So out of that 6, this is the one that's an easy pass. Now, at this point in time, if they're still on shelves, it's probably the running change color variants, which I do believe give Shipwreck a green turtleneck, as well as a different colored pants, but the same accessories. So you do have options, and to be honest, I'm not the only one who really didn't think much of this version of Shipwreck, as he goes for relatively reasonable prices on the aftermarket. If you have to have the Shipwreck in his early 2000s look in your collection, then definitely pick this figure up, as I really think this is the only way you'll get a figure that bears that imagery and visage and what have you. So this is your old pal Chuck for Shipwreck. We'll see you next time.